G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. Sorry it's a little bit late. Life gets in the way. But today we're going to be taking a trip back to 1984. And we're going to be looking at one of Cobra's hierarchy, the Baroness. The only Baroness that we got in the G.I. Joe vintage line, and that is a shame, as they resurrected just about every character in the vintage line. We got a couple versions of Scarlet. We only did we get a version of Lady J? No, we only got one version of Lady J. Missed opportunity there, Hasbro. And only one version of the Baroness. So what does that tell you? Don't mess with perfection or missed opportunity. I say it's a missed opportunity. And don't mess with perfection. They could have brought her back, just given her another color of uniform. It's in the first few episodes of the cartoon, she was in her comic book uniform, the blue uniform with the yellow shoulder pad. They could have done that for us. There are several things they could have done for us with that in the vintage line. Just so they didn't make her a Sonic fighter. That would have been just fine. So, yeah, we only got one version of her, and that really was a shame, because she was in just about every episode of G.I. Joe. She's a very important part of the hierarchy. She is in the Joe Command. My cat just had to come in. Hi, Mickey. Yep. Shooting a film here. Yes. She was a very important part of the hierarchy. She even took took a role in ousting Cobra Commander when Dr. Mindbender was creating Serpentor. She was quick to turn on him, turn on Cobra Commander because of his buffoonery and his quick call to retreat. And what made her a leader of Cobra anyway? It seems that you just needed money, really, to be a leader in Cobra. There was Destro, her love interest, boyfriend. He was the weapons supplier, so yeah, he's automatically in Cobra Command. She's a Baroness, so she's right up there. Didn't really see her contributing any money into it. So when you're a bad guy, you really don't need much to be in command. Be up in be a leader in the hierarchy, I guess, with Cobra. But she was a tactician in a way. She was a master of disguise. She was pretty good at that. She helped free Cobra Commander a few times using her disguises. So yeah, she did a good job as a leader. She was a very popular character amongst the collectors, and still is today, especially amongst the cosplayers. There are a lot of women that cosplay her and do a very good job of it. So needless to say, this character is not going to be forgotten anytime soon. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at this action figure. Then I'll get back into discussing it as far as childhood experiences with her. Isn't that right, Mick? Yeah. Alright, so here she is, the Baroness. Looking pretty good. She definitely stands out from your typical Cobra action figure. She obviously isn't clad in blue. Destro was in black as well. So that goes to show you something. He was black and red, so she's black and red. So that's an interesting observation that just now dawned on me. These reviews are learning experiences for me as well. As well as opportunities for me to teach you guys, to teach about G.I. Joe to the younger generation that are coming up, or to just share my passion more than just teaching, I should say. So yeah, she and Destro both wearing black and red. You know, the red comes from the sigil. You know, there's no black on her uniform, or no red on her uniform aside from the sigil. Her uniform is pretty interesting. She wears a not sure if it's a bodysuit, a leotard, like Scarlet wears, or if it is an actual jacket and pants that she's wearing. It's really hard to tell. Looking here at the top, you could see that there are buttons, and the sleeves are indicating that this may be a jacket, but then she has this armor on over the top of it. You see that there's straps that come over the top that are buckled onto the front. So this is a type of a body armor, and the Cobra emblem there on the front. She does have these gauntlet style gloves that she's wearing. The gauntlets, well, actually these aren't these are wrist cuffs with the Cobra emblem on them, because you could see that these are buckled on. Pay attention to the camera, Byron, not to the action figure. Yeah, these are buckled on. So these are sleeves with possible full leotard with it's really hard to tell if she's wearing gloves or not with this action figure. So let's just say that she is wearing gloves outside of a full gloved bodysuit. Very interesting. The more I look at this action figure, the more I'm learning about her. Then she's wearing these thigh-high boots that have this armor type plating that match her chest plate. Kind of look like snake scale, if you would. That go all around the back. She does have that. She is wearing a gun on her right leg, a little pistol there on her right leg, and she does have a Cobra emblem here on her belt buckle. Very, very interesting action figure indeed. Some people say that she's wearing S&M gear. I won't go there and accuse her of that, as I know nothing about that type of apparel, so we won't even discuss that. But she does represent Cobra fairly well in there, because she does have the Cobra emblems on her gloves and on the chest. Oh, I forgot to mention her glasses that are sculpted onto her face, and she has sculpted on plastic hair. The first action figure to do that, to have the sculpted on plastic hair. The others were molded hair. So she definitely stands out with the women. Also, she was the first woman to come with a actual rifle, or outside of with a firearm, as we had Scarlet with her crossbow, Lady J with her spear projector type weapon. So the Baroness comes with this scoped laser rifle. This was one of my favorite weapons as a kid. That came with a Cobra figure. I just thought this was the coolest thing. It was futuristic enough for me to really get into it, and it fit in well with Star Wars too, if I wanted to switch it over to a Star Wars figure. Also with her backpack, she has this black Cobra emblem on her backpack. It's a small backpack. Unnecessary. She doesn't really need one, but it's nice that she does have one. And that one just slots right here onto her back, and it goes well with the action figure. So the Baroness, she is your Cobra intelligence officer, master of disguise. Will not go into her hand. I'm not going to force it because I don't want to break her thumb off. Just all around cool character, very popular character amongst collectors. She even showed up in the G.I. Joe movie. She was once Duke's girlfriend, and then got captured by a former friend of Duke, and turned in. She was Duke's best friend's sister, and both of them were turned into Cobra agents. You know, that movie, it kind of went off into left field with that, but interesting backstories on those. And then she ended up marrying a dude named Cobra, and became a Baroness. She married a Baron. So anyway, that was the movie. This is the cartoon. This is the vintage G.I. Joe that we're talking about. So we'll leave it at that. But she wasn't the only one that showed up all clad in black. We cannot forget about our man Snake Eyes. I pulled out the collector's case just for this occasion. I might leave it up for the next review too. All right, so The Baroness. Yeah, she is such an iconic character, such a cool character. Oh, very nice action figure. Had plenty of playtime with her as a kid. I did have her as when I was a kid as well. I found her on the side of the road. Yeah, pretty interesting. It was broken. She was missing her left arm, but I quickly replaced that with a Leonard action figure. I had one that was completely black, and I just dipped its hand in model paint, and it fit with her until I could buy a replacement arm for her. So yeah, I had her with a missing left arm for years, and at a glance it looked like Baroness. Yeah, so I was about 12 or 13 when I found it. So I never had her in '84. A friend of mine did, of course, my friend John. So we had plenty of playtime with her. He didn't have Scarlet down here, but we did have Lady J and the Baroness. So both of those characters we did get lots of playtime with. My main memory was seeing her outside of course, playing with her, but seeing her on the shelves in Smitty's. I've talked about that store quite a bit. This was when the toy department was lined up with the check stands, as they were always revamping that store, always moving things around. So the toy department at that time, if you walk down the stationery aisle, the greeting cards, that's where you would get where the good toys were, which I called the good toys. The action figures. You go straight down from the checkout down the stationery, the greeting cards, and you would get right to the action figures. They had Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, G.I. Joe, all within that area. And then Star Wars, of course, ended in '83, so the action figures, when those sold out, they sold out. When I saw the Baroness, I was like, whoa. I remember the card art still to this day, and of course it helps having some of the cards coming out for sale online, but seeing the light blue background on that, really on behind the bubble where the action figure was, that really popped. I could, as I'm telling the story, I could see it in my mind's eye still. And the Firefly, Scrap Iron, and the Baroness came out that year. And I remember seeing Scrap Iron and the Baroness. I didn't see Firefly. Don't really recall seeing him at the moment out on the pegs. But Scrap Iron definitely with the Baroness. And I wanted Scrap Iron really bad. Oh man, he was so cool. It was the rocket launcher. Is big, and oh my gosh, I wanted him really, really bad. Just Scrap Iron alone is a cool action figure, a cool character just by himself. So seeing those two together, and my dad, what was really cool was my dad, he would come and look at the toys with us, and he would want us to tell him about them, and we'd explain what these toys were. He is especially interested in military toys, being a Green Beret, and we would talk to him about them, and he just got a kick out of us, you know, is how excited we would get over these toys. And, you know, okay, well, Christmas is coming, guys. And that was always his thing. Christmas is coming. So that was always the appeasement. Christmas is coming. So that seemed to work, get us to shut our mouths about these things. So yeah, it was really neat. But I remember telling my dad about scrap iron in the Baroness, and if it was an actual military weapon, he would tell us about the weapon and how it worked and everything. But yeah, Dad and I, we bonded over G.I. Joe a little bit. So there you have it, guys. The Baroness, 1984 Baroness. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys stopping by the Toy Dungeon, especially to my new subscribers. I really appreciate you guys, and for all of you who have stuck around with me all of these years, a big thank you to all of you. It's every one of you who have made this channel what it is, but especially to those of you who have been with me from the beginning, that are the foundation of this channel. You guys are fantastic. Don't want to discount any of you, but it's the people at the beginning that really made this channel what it is. And those of you who are joining me or making this channel grow, and it makes me feel so good knowing that all of you found my content interesting enough to stick with me and to subscribe, that I've earned your subscription, and thank you for that. It's an honor, and it's flattering that you found me interesting enough to subscribe to my channel and to continue watching. So I do really appreciate you guys for that. So if you do have an action figure in mind, I will be more than happy to review that for you. Leave me a comment. I do answer back. That's one of my favorite things about this show is are your comments. Getting to know you guys through your comments, and hearing your opinions and your feedback on the show, and what these toys meant to you, if you had them, your stories behind them. Those things mean a lot. I don't quite have the words. It does mean a lot to me to hear that. Because that's what this show to me is about, is growing and preserving these memories for future generations. This is an archival type program for me, a project to preserve these memories and these pieces of plastic. Everything's turning electronic, and you know, are we going to be the final generation that play with these things? You know, that's kind of bothering me a little bit. I hope not. I hope not. I hope there are younger kids out there that are still playing with action figures, and not just the adults. I look at the prices of action figures. The Star Wars action figure, $20. Kicked me in the face, man. $20. How could a kid afford that? But kids have more pocket money these days than we did when we were younger. So, anyway, You guys, you take care. Stay safe out there. Be kind to yourselves. You earn it. You deserve it. Be kind to everyone. You never know what type of day someone's having. An ounce of kindness does go a very long way. And be kind to your animals. They know nothing about unconditional love, especially when they come in and crash your program, like my cat Mickey did. He was just wanting to come in and say hi to me. So, anyway, you guys take care. We'll see you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. Until then, this is Joe Motion Videos AV2 saying